Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the Church Media Designer. Well, I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and with me, as always, is my faithful crew of the Three Wise Men and Jesus. We got Colonel Sanders, Little Whitey, Dwight Schrute, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Well, on this week's episode, we're going to start a series on desktop publishing, and we're going to use a great free open source program, as well as we're going to give you some free stuff, and we're going to talk about a conference that's for those of you who have a church out in the boonies. So if the Three Wise Men and Jesus are ready, let's get into it. Well, in the news for this week, and when I say news, I don't mean the newest news, because well, there's some time shifting going on when we record the episode to when it airs. There's almost a week in between. You know, me and Marty McFly and the Flux Capacitor are hanging out a little bit too much, and I'm kind of getting lost in 1988 going 83, or 1983 going 88 miles an hour. Something like that. Anyway, so this news is new to me. It might not be new to you, but here we go. So ChurchMediaDesign.tv, which is a great site about church marketing and branding in the church and logos and all that kind of stuff, ChurchMediaDesign.tv is celebrating its 4th year of existence. So if you head over to their website and check out their great blog, as well as they have a ton of great resources. One of the cool things, if you're looking for somebody to design something for your church, let's say you want something like a website done and you're like, I can handle Photoshop, but I'm not really a web designer. One cool thing they have is their job board and their freelance lab, in which you can post job listings. So you can post like a position at your church. Hey, we're looking for a graphic designer. Or the freelance lab, like, hey, I need a website or I need a logo. So you can check out those things, as well as they have a listing of all the other stuff they've started in their first 4 years. So check out ChurchMarketingSucks.com. The next one is for those of you who live in rural communities. That means in the boonies. Means no one lives by you. It's an hour to get to Walmart or something like that. Anyway, the conference is called The Sticks, and it's for small and medium town, big impact. It's about churches that are in small communities that still can have a huge impact on what goes on. And it's a really cool idea. I think it's in Ohio, and it's coming, it's in Loudonville. I don't know. It's probably in the Sticks, so I can't pronounce it. But it's November 11th and 12th, so go check that out, because I know there's a lot of you that are in small town America that are doing media, that are watching the show, so I wanted to let you guys know about that. So check out ChurchMarketingSucks.com and thesticks.tv. Well, this week we're going to be starting a series on desktop publishing, or like making your bulletins or flyers or pamphlets, print material for your church that you're going to do in-house. We're going to show you a free program for doing that, and this question comes from Sherry. Sherry says, hey Brad, thanks for the graphic lessons. They have been a lifesaver. I am a church planner's wife, and I have been thrown into the graphics world from sheer need. I'm sure a few of you can relate to that. We started our church here in Milton, Ontario in February of 2007, just outside Toronto. Anyways, I'm looking for a template for InDesign for our bulletin. I have minimal skills with Photoshop, Illustrator through you, and InDesign, I got nothing. But willing to learn. Anyhow, any suggestions or lessons you could provide on making a bulletin? From Sherry. Well, we're not going to talk about InDesign. InDesign is the program from Adobe, and a lot of you guys have asked for more free software tutorials on things like GIMP and Inkspace, and this is a similar program. So if we head over to Scribus, I think it's Scribus, it might be Scribus, might be Blackus, which is the best game ever. But I'm pretty sure it's Scribus. Scribus.net, and Scribus is a open source desktop publishing program, and it's free for Mac, PC, and Linux, so awesome, everyone can use it. The other thing you're going to need to install is a thing called GhostScript, which allows you to bring in EPS files as well as export out PDF files, and that's really, really important. And I'll have a link on the website to the SourceForge download page for GhostScript, because you'll want to make sure to install that, or else it will give you a little warning every time. But anyway, we're going to be using Scribus. And I just wanted to show this. You can apply these principles to InDesign, and you can apply a lot of these ideas. I use InDesign most of the time and have picked up this program to teach you guys, and it's very similar in a lot of ways. Some ways it's different. Of course, a paid-for program is going to have a lot more bells and whistles and that kind of stuff, but this is going to get the job done for you, and it's going to get it done better than Word's going to get it done, because you shouldn't be using Word for this kind of stuff. And hopefully you're not using Publisher, because Microsoft Publisher is kind of the devil, and I don't like it because it makes terrible websites and it makes pretty much terrible everything else. So sorry if you like Publisher, but Brad doesn't. So anyway, let's get started. So we're going to open up Scribus, and we're going to do File New, and we're going to, instead of doing an A4, we're going to scroll down and we're going to do a nice letter. So we'll just do a regular letter, which is 8.5 by 11, which is what most of you guys would use on a day-to-day basis. So as you can see here, we have a pretty basic interface. We have all of these different tools, and today on this episode, I'm going to go through and show you all of these tools and show their basic uses. On next week's episode, we're actually going to go through and start using some of those tools to do some of your basic layout principles. We're not actually going to make a template for your bulletin, but we're going to give you all of the tools you need to make your own template, and show you how to template out something, whether it be a bulletin or whether it be a newsletter or that kind of thing. So the first tool we're going to start with here is our text frame. So we're going to just click on our text frame tool, and we can just draw out a text frame wherever we want. And then we can just double click inside and we can start typing. Now you might say, hey, I want to highlight that and change my font. Where do I do that? Well, one of the first things I would suggest you do is go up to Windows and go down, and you should open up your layers. And we'll move that over to the side here, and then we'll go to Windows again, and we're going to open up our properties. And those are the two most important ones in my opinion, because you'll want to have multiple layers sometime on this stuff, but other times you'll just need to be messing with properties and that kind of thing. So now that we have our properties panel open, we can start changing some of our text. So in here you'll see XYZ, shape, text, image, line, and color. So if we open up the text one, we'll see all of our text properties. So we can double click back inside here, select our text, and then we can find what font we want to use. So let's say we want to use, maybe Arial. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that one before, but it's a nice font. So we can use Arial, maybe bold. It's a new idea, new principle for design. If you've never used Arial bold, maybe you should try it someday. Just a thought. And I'm an idiot. So they got a bunch of different stuff. You can do, underline and all that kind of junk. We can also change our font size here, so we can kick up our size quite a bit. We can change our line spacing. We can change our orientation. All the normal stuff you can always do. We can also change our color. So there's a little drop down here with some colors. But there's an advanced editor for your text as well. And the way you get to that is by selecting your text, and up over here you'll see kind of a drawing pad with a pencil, and that's Edit Text with the Story Editor. So we'll click the Story Editor, and in here you'll see it's a little bit more simple looking, and you have all your text, but it gives you much more colors to deal with, because I was like, hey, black went missing and I would like it, or I want orange red number 4. Because everyone's using orange red number 4. That's some of the weird stuff. It doesn't use standard hexadecimal for its colors. I haven't really found that yet. If it exists, it might be there. I just don't know about it. But at least this gives you more of an option, so we can change our text to red. And then if we kind of move our box down here and hit this button right to the left of the magnifying glass, it says Update Text Frame. And when we do that, it will update the frame on the page, which is really nice. You also can save what's inside the story editor and a bunch of different stuff. So, and close out without updating. So we can just close that, and now that's good. Also, you can do all your standard stuff of changing the size of this, but you can also do some different things with the shape of your text area and your positioning of it and that kind of stuff. So that's your basics to the text block. So next we can mess with throwing images in. It's one of the things you'll want to do the most, whether you're putting a logo inside here or your series graphic or an image of your pastor or people serving the community, all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to delete this text frame. We're going to go down to the next one, which is insert image frame, which is the I key. And we'll just draw a box here. And what you'll see is, okay, I have a box there and there's nothing in it. Now there's two ways you can get an image inside, or there's a few different ways. One, you can go down to File and then you can do Import and do Get Image, or you can right click and do Get Image, or you can hit Control D and it does Get Image. So now we're just gonna go over and find our image inside our directory. So I'm just gonna open up this picture of the pier here where I live and hit open, and you'll see, all you see is a blue square. Now, one thing to think about here already is that you're dealing with different worlds than you're used to. With print, like we talked about a long time ago, we need higher resolution. Print wants like 300 DPI or 300 pixels per inch PPI. Similar but different. Standard screen resolution is 72 DPI. So basically you want that full res image that are coming out of cameras, not a downsized one that you would use for the web. And what we're seeing right now is just a corner of this because it's using the full size of this image and showing it inside the box. But what we can do is we can go over to our image panel here, our image property, and we can do scale to frame size proportional. And now it will scale down that image, and if I change the frame size, it will scale up my image accordingly so that I can mess with that. So that's really nice. You actually, what I would suggest doing a lot of times is hit the scale to frame size and then go back to free scaling, because then if we wanted to maybe crop out part of this image, I can scale this frame without scaling the image, and it will use my bounding box here to actually crop that image a little bit. That's the properties for this image frame. So it's super simple, and that's how you get images in there. You can Control C, Control V, and duplicate that image. It's going to copy it right on top of itself. So you can make more, and then you can just do Control D again and like go find some other random photo, like maybe the web image for CMD, you know. And again, you'll have to go in here and say we want to scale to the frame, and now we have more images in there. Now, one type of file you'll want to bring in is vector files. Now, vector files are your AI or EPS files. These are those vector, they're uncompressed, you can scale them up and down and they're always going to look great. And vector files work really well with print. So that's the reason we're going to want to bring them in here. The problem with Scribus is that it only accepts EPS files. It does not accept Illustrator files, and I think it accepts PDF files, but it does not accept AI files, which is your standard from Illustrator. So what we're going to do here, let's say you go onto the web, you go to a site like Vecteezy, and you download a file, and it's an AI file. Well, you can convert it over using Inkscape, which we've talked about in the past. So I'm going to open up Inkscape here, and I'm going to quickly open up our CMD logo, which is saved as an AI file. And it's going to give you a PDF import setting, and we're going to just hit OK, and it's going to import that CMD logo. Now inside here we can go File and do Save As, and we can change our file type from an Inkscape SVG to a encapsulated PostScript, an EPS file. So we'll just select that, and then we can save this file again. We'll just call it CMD, and it will be an EPS file, and hit Save. And we'll hit OK. And, oh, it found a file that already was there, but we'll just hit Replace, and we'll replace that. So now when we go inside Scribus, we can make another one of those image frames, hit Control D, and we can go find our CMD EPS file and hit Open, and now we have a nice vector image inside here that we can scale to any size we want, and we'll never lose quality. Again, you'll need to mess with the actual size of this by messing around with the scaling fit to frame, or if you're on free scaling and you want to mess around with it, you can actually just use these values here to scale things up and down. Type in your own value, that kind of stuff. So that's how you would bring in an EPS file, and that's how you need to convert those files over. So look for EPS files, and if you don't have a program like Illustrator, go download Inkscape. You can get that from inkscape.org so that you can convert over those image files. Next, we're going to be talking about making shapes inside Scribus. Now, Scribus is not a full-on image creation program, but you can do basic shapes and that kind of thing. So if we go over here and we grab our Insert Shape tool, we can draw out and it will draw us a nice little box. We also can go in our Properties panel to Shape, and we can we have a little box here that has a square in it, and we can pull up and it has some pre-done shapes. So we have some arrows that we can choose, or a diamond, that kind of stuff. Also, we can do Edit Shape, and that will allow us to screw around with the points here and actually make these shapes even more custom. And the last tool is just the basic line tool, and we can use that to draw out lines. So I'll just draw a nice line here across the page, and it will give me a solid color. I can go to my line properties. I can change what type of line. So if I want dashes, I can do that. I can change my line width and make my line bigger or smaller. And if I have, let's say, let's get rid of this line, and let's say we use our pencil tool to draw, and we draw that, we can go back to our line and we can change our edges. Let's say we have that, but our edges, we can do beveled edges, or we can do round caps on the end, and you'll really see that come true when we kick up the size. So that's a round cap, there's a square cap, and that's a flat cap. So there's some different properties that you have in there. So that's kind of the basics of Scribus and what Scribus can do for you. Next week, again, we're going to look through all of the different things that you can do as far as basics of laying out a program or a bulletin or that kind of stuff. So tune in next week for the finishing touches on making a template for your bulletin. Well, this week's inspiration comes in form to you of a website / blog / it's pretty much like all the other design sites out there on the web. It's got tutorials, it's got thoughts, it's got articles, the whole 9 yards, and it's fuelyourcreativity.com. And this is a great site if you're getting started in desktop publishing and you're starting to do layouts. This has a lot of stuff about typography. It shows a lot of print ads and that kind of stuff. So Fuel Your Creativity has got a lot of different things, as well as the articles and interviews, and they've got some resources and some freebie wallpapers for their site. So I would highly suggest checking out fuelyourcreativity.com to, well, fuel your creativity. Well, this week's freebie comes in form of another worship background for your arsenal. I'm here to give you free stuff, and this week's freebie is a nice somber candle background, so you can check it out behind me, and this would be great for communion or for a more thought-provoking worship song or any of those kind of things. So head over to the website, download this. It'll be in widescreen high definition and in full screen church definition. So you can download either of those in WMV or MPEG-4. So head to ChurchMediaDesign.tv and get your free freebie. We want to thank our sponsor of WorshipHouseMedia.com, resources for the creative church. You can head over to their website and use our promo code of CMDTV1. You'll get 15% off any order at Worship House Media, as well as their partner and sister site of EchoConference.com. Now, you don't get 15% off there, but we want to thank them as well because, well, I'm speaking at Echo Conference and I want to see you there. So if you haven't signed up for Echo yet, you need to sign up. Come on over, especially if you live in Texas. I know Texas is really small, so it's just a short drive across the state if you need to come over to Dallas. And it's going to be a great conference. They have a bunch of great speakers, including Donald Miller, and I know that Tim Stevens is doing a breakout, and a whole bunch of other guys. So I'll be doing a breakout there, and I know it's going to be a great conference. Kendall Payne is going to be performing, and I look forward to it a lot. So check out EchoConference.com and WorshipHouseMedia.com. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Church Media Design TV. I'm so glad that you guys are here, and thanks again for all the emails and postings on the website that we're getting. I love getting that feedback, and as you can see, I'm trying to answer your questions just like Sherry's, and we're going to continue to answer that next week. And The Pro Presenter, Media Shout, and maybe some other worship software comparisons are coming in the future. I just have to have a good amount of time to do it. And right now it's super busy. And to be honest, we're outside the entire summer for our church, and so I'm not actually using any of this software right now. So it might be a little bit. I just want to give you that forewarning so that you're not like waiting on pins and needles every week for it and then me not giving it to you. I don't want to like hold you on a hanger or something. I don't know. But anyway, so those are coming down the line. But if you have any other ideas for a show, please send those in. You can email me, brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv, or leave a message on the website. As well as you can hit me up on Skype, Vinmark Productions, or become my friend on Facebook. My name is Brad Zimmerman. So there's a bunch of different ways to stay in contact, and I really want to stay in touch with you guys. So for me and the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying, see you later. Welcome to Church Media Design TV. Tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the Church Media Designer. Welcome to Church Media Design TV. Tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the Church Media Designer. Well, I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and I'm on a flotation device. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV. I'm Moby. Welcome to the episode. Well, welcome to Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, rootin' tootin' partners. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and this is my roundup of the three wisest men and Jesus. Coming to you from the stable, it's Colonel Sanders, Little Whitey, and Dwight Schrute, and on the auction block, trying to save your souls, it's Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Yee-haw! Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the Church Media Designer. Well, I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and with me, as always, is the three wise men and Jesus. We got Colonel Sanders, Little Whitey, Mom, I'm taping the episode right now. No, I don't need my clothes done. No, I can cook my own food now. I gotta go. Dwight Schrute and Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High.